click the link. Once we're live, you'll see the live option, and you can click on that and see all of the guests, all of the folks, all of the goodness that is our live stream on the YouTube channel. All right, share that now. All right, about 2 minutes. And am I able to? No, I don't think I am.
Whatever.
A little tribute to Ron T-Sort here. Hopefully this will fire up for me.
You're invited to a night of gospel singing with a country flavor. Friday, January 10th, 7 p.m. at Rockford First Assembly of God Church. The evening will feature several different gospel performers, including the Assemblymen.
Watching, therefore, you know not the day
Juan Hartgrove.
when you could have walked away. Turned your back to all my sin.
Also appearing for the first time will be the First Assembly Pastors Quartet and many others.
There's a better day a-coming. Fare thee well, fare thee well. There's a better day a-coming. Fare thee well, fare thee well.
Join us for a night of gospel singing with a country flavor. Friday, January 10th, 7 p.m. at First Assembly of God Church on the corner of Spring Creek and Mulford Road in Rockford. There'll be no admission charge. A free will offering will be taken. You can find out more by calling 877-8000. That's 877-8000.
Let's start the show.
Stand by for ludicrous speed.
Okay, my Greg Saunders.
Eagle looking great. Your go. Greg Saunders.
Greg Saunders.
Greg Saunders.
Wow. Hey, great.
Good.
Look at it.
We interrupt this sound file to bring you a terrifying announcement.
Are you aware that you're leaking coolant at an alarming rate?
Show us the skills that have made you a media darling.
Well, I'm glad we got all that out in the open.
Ladies and gentlemen,
This is the Saturday morning Stateline show.
Let's say something funny. What do you think?
Okay.
Room temperature water. Tastes warm. Room temperature food. Tastes cold. What's up with that? I'm Greg. He's Tom.
I don't know.
Saturday morning Stateline show. We're admitting Corey into the room right now. While he's coming in here, I'm just going to stand up for a second. Way to go, Packers. Making some good draft moves in the NFL draft. The last couple of days, I think, anyway.
Oh, no, they got an A minus actually in their draft.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm happy. Are Bears fans happy?
Bears did it. Bears got an A as well.
It's a pretty exciting season to be a football fan. The NFL draft's going on. You've got teams. The first 3 or 4 picks were quarterbacks. So anyway, interesting stuff going on. We're going to bring our friend Corey Neese from Florida to tell us a little bit about what he thinks about what's going on. But before we get into all that, want to give a couple of quick shout outs here this morning. There's Corey. Good morning, Corey.
Good morning, Corey from the Birdcage.
We'll allow him to unmute himself. You're allowed to unmute yourself. There you go.
There we go.
Good. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you both.
Before we get into anything else, I always want to remember our big number of the week first. And this week it is 160 million. 160 million.
Right on. Right.
The answer this week is A plus or app. A plus or app. We'll give you the answer at the end of the show. Before we jump into our topics of conversation today, quick shout out to Dr. Prado in Belvedere for hosting a great in-crowd event this last Thursday night. Were you out, Tom, around town Thursday when that little squall storm kind of blew through real quick?
I was on my way to trivia, but apparently I missed it. It was a little bit of a sprinkle, but it was not what I heard. I mean, everybody said, wow, trees were blowing and, branches were coming down. I did not see any of that.
I didn't hear what the final max mile per hour wind was, but I had a showing up in Roscoe, and then I had to go to Belvedere for in crowd. So in between the two is my office. I'm like, well, I got enough time. I can pop in my office and get a few things done real quick. So I pop in my office. It's like 4:45. And I want to leave there at about 5:15 to go to Belvedere. And that's what I did. I left, I don't know, it was maybe 10 or 15 minutes after 5, maybe quarter after 5. Anyway, I'm driving to Belvedere from Loves Park, and I'm seeing all this stuff getting blown around, garbage and whatnot, and, just dirt. There's some farmers in fields, plowing up stuff. So there's extra dirt flying around. And I'm seeing stuff go one way and then stuff blow another way. And I start looking for twisters.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is crazy. Where is this? Are we going to have a tornado? Cause this is a really weird weather event. By the time I got to Belvedere, it mostly had calmed down. It only had rained a little bit where I was driving, but what a weird little squall that blew through. Hopefully nobody lost anything important, because I'm sure if you had like plastic chairs out on your patio or something and you weren't expecting this, they might have blown away.
Yeah.
The light stuff doesn't do so well with this. So that was kind of fun. But Thursday night had a really good event out at the chiropractic place there on State Street in Belvedere. Dr. Prado, well done, buddy. Also want to shout out to I don't remember if I said happy birthday to my nephew Connor last weekend. Connor's 12. What a time of life to be a 12-year-old.
Wow.
And his dad got him a dirt bike.
Oh, wow.
His kid, I can't wait to see what this does to get, if this is this something that really turns his crank, no pun intended, or if it's a short-lived hobby.
It's a dirt bike and he's a 12-year-old. What do you think?
Well, here's my thought. And here's what when I was telling my brother-in-law, I'm like, it's all going to come down to his first wipeout.
Yes. Yep.
The first time he wipes out, because he's going to wipe out. We all know that. We've all, if you've ridden just any kind of bike and you've wiped out once, did you get back on the bike? And so
I didn't.
You didn't?
No, I did that one time with a BMX bike, and I was over at the BMX track in Rockford. Did that when I was a kid, hit the ramp, went flying, scraped my whole leg up. And that was the last time I did that for professional riding, if you will. So
I've definitely done some wipeouts on BMX bikes, and still had fun riding those. I never had a motorcycle. I never had a small dirt bike motorcycle like he's got. So I'm a little bit jealous, but I'm also a little bit concerned. There was a time that I got to use a snowmobile for a winter, and I just about killed myself on that. That kind of cured me of snowmobile speed.
I thought you were going to say you're going to go help him, teach him how to use that bike. That way you get a few rides in on it.
I wouldn't know how to use it. I mean, I could learn real quick. It's supposed to be fun, but that first crash, Connor, what you're going to do. Hopefully it's just a little minor scrape, because it's going to happen. You're going to push the limits at some point and go, whoa, that was a little too much, a little too quick of a turn, whatever. Anyway, so happy birthday to Connor. I want to congratulate Rosa and her family on her closing yesterday. Got her a nice house in Loves Park, and very, very happy for her and her family. Beautiful house there. Also a wonderful closing that I didn't get to see at all, because it was friends of ours that we referred to an agent in Pennsylvania. They made the move from the Rockford area back to their home state of Pennsylvania. So congratulations to them on their closing this week, to the Miller family. And two other quick real estate notes. One is that I continue to see, it seems like more single women than single guys are buying homes. And one of our friends' daughters is ready to buy a house, had a home buying consultation with her this week, and she's excited to start her home search journey, and looking forward to help her with that. But that continues to be a thing as far as the number of the demographics of people that we work with in the real estate industry. Obviously, couples are first, but single women outnumber single men by about 2 to 1 when it comes to the home buying numbers and demographics. So that's kind of interesting. And then it continues to be such a hot market that we're writing numerous offers with clients before finally getting a house under contract. And unfortunately, this past week, one of my clients got 2 different houses under contract, and both had major issues to the point where we just canceled the contract. After a home inspection, it was like, nope, this is too much. Even if the seller were to fix this, it would take them a long time to do it. And we're not waiting. We need to get a house now. So that happens. And especially in a market like this, some of the remaining inventory is lame inventory. So you got to be careful. Got to be careful with what you're buying. And that's whether you're working with me or working with another agent, it's good to have an agent on your side to help you figure out what's going on. Obviously, I'm not a home inspector. I wish I would have seen these problems myself before she paid for a home inspection, but that's not my profession. You don't pay me to do that. In fact, you don't pay me anything. I work for free for buyers. But I sometimes can see things and head them off at the pass before we get into that situation. So
that doesn't become a conflict of interest or anything. If you're like, well, I'm not an inspector, but you may want to check that staircase, or you may want to check that roof or something. Can you do that? Or is that considered like?
Well, probably the best thing that I can do for clients are especially those clients who are getting an FHA home loan. Mm-hmm. Those are the ones I focus a little bit more on as far as the condition of the house.
Right.
Easier to say, okay, I might be missing something. However, I can see that this deck is missing a railing. That's a problem. I know for sure that an FHA appraiser is going to say, nope, this is not safe because there's more than 3 steps here and there's no hand railing. Mm-hmm. That's an easy one to pick out. Scraping, flaking paint, broken windows, stuff like that I know for sure won't pass. But even then, sometimes, you miss some things. That's, the one thing that I missed this week, which even the home inspector said it was, he had to really, really look closely, was some pretty severe termite damage, to the point where, some supports were quite compromised, probably bad enough that they need to be replaced, not just repaired. So, the seller had painted everything black, so it was even harder to see the termite damage. And our really, really good home inspector picked that out. And so kudos to him. We got some great people that we work with in the home inspection industry, and very, very happy to share those names with folks that need them. All right. So those are my shout outs for today. And before we get into Corey, Tom, did you have anything you wanted to throw out there this week?
No, I'm good. It's just been a normal week.
All righty. Well,
no rants this week, except my usual Cub rant.
I
Well,
can
let me
rant
ask
on
you.
that topic very, very easily. So,
Well, Corey, let me ask you, can you get the marquee network down there where you are?
see, I have to go through MLB TV to be able to see the
Okay.
Cubs. That's the only way
Okay.
I can see them. Yeah, I heard one of your conversations in recent weeks. I missed WGN. I really miss WGN.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I know from what I've gathered, the MLB has made this so that, you know, they're going to limit people in outside markets from being able to see, you know, me being able to see the Cubs in Florida, me being able to see the Dodgers or somebody else. They want to push that through their network or, you know, MLB TV so they can get a little bit of money off of it.
Right.
That's the direction that, you know, the industry has gone. But the days of the teams on the super stations, you know, I think there's a lot of Cub fans and Brave fans from the 80s and 90s who got to know those teams very well because they got to see their games pretty much every day.
Yeah.
So I think you missed that. I wish that all teams could have that luxury, but unfortunately, this is the market we live in.
I started back in probably 72, 73, watching Cub games every single day. My best friend lived down the street. We didn't have cable. Nobody had cable. It wasn't even in this area. But for some reason, they had a really good antenna and they could get Channel 9 out of Chicago. I don't know how. So every day at 1:20, we were down there watching, you know, during the summer. Even after school, we'd go over there at, 2:30, 3 o'clock to watch the last 4 or 5 innings. Every single day. And that went on for 30 years. And then all of a sudden Comcast got involved and now you had Cub games on Comcast and then Cub games on GN or White Sox games on the opposite. And it was like so aggravating.
Yes.
But I would still, because then I had Comcast, I was able to get them. Okay, we're good. No harm, no foul. And now all of a sudden the last few years, I've been shut out completely. I haven't seen a complete Cub game in 2 years. 2 years.
I had the privilege the other night of watching them on ESPN, which is rare because normally I'm watching them on my phone. And so to get a full screen game, that's pretty nice. But I was actually able to sit there with my son for about 2 innings, and you know he's 5 years old. He's learning balls, strikes, outs. He's starting to get that a little bit. And
cool.
I told him, I'm going to teach you. I'm going to teach you as you go. Now he told me, he goes, Dad, I don't know if I like baseball as much as you do. I said, son, if you don't like baseball as much as I do, that's fine. But I'll show you what you want to learn as you go.
That's right. That's right.
So it was kind of a fun time. You know, Cubs aren't playing well, so I might as well have fun teaching my son the game. So
yeah. Along those lines, when you say you could watch it on ESPN, see, I have a problem. I'm in the Cub market. I can't. They'll block it out on ESPN. That's what's been happening. That's why I haven't been able to watch a Cub game. Because they're blocking it out. They were on ESPN, I don't know, last year at some point. And I'm talking to my buddy. He goes, no, I'm watching it. It's on ESPN. Because I was telling him I can't get the marquee network. And he said, nope, it's on ESPN. So I go to ESPN and it's blocked out. It's blocked. And I was like, no, you got to be kidding me. It happened on TBS. They were playing the Braves. And it happened on, and I'm not even sure. The Superstation, they don't carry the Braves anymore, right? But what it was is TBS will still do games. And it was a Cubs game. And it may not have been the Braves. I don't know. But it was TBS. And that was blacked out. And then there was another one on MLB TV that they were carrying. And it was blacked out because it was a Cub game in the Cub market. So I threw my hands up and said, I'm done.
I sympathize. And I think what the Cub organization is going to find is, much like with the White Sox back in the 80s, they went to a television network called Sports Vision. And Harry Carey was totally against it. One of the reasons he left the White Sox to join the Cubs was he liked the fact the Cubs had a market that was just so huge, whereas the White Sox were limiting themselves because back in those days, cable TV was a luxury. Well, the marquee network apparently is a luxury. And I don't know how many people in the Rockford area get it. I know I've had some friends, much like you, Tom, that have complained about it. I hope that it's something they get resolved going forward, because you're going to see more and more White Sox fans going forward than you're going to see Cub fans as time goes on if this continues. So
I agree.
Well, before we get to talking about the NFL a little bit here, Corey, I know you've got something coming up with your friends at North Love Baptist Church. What do they got going on?
Well, North Love Christian School has been helping to provide a quality Christ-centered education to young people for almost 50 years. Been a challenging year, but I give the staff and the leadership there at NLCS so much credit. They've been able to keep the doors open for the most part the entire school year. They've had a few times they've had to do some remote learning, but for the most part, they've been able to keep their classrooms open, kids coming in, and it's exciting. It's exciting that they're willing to do that. Teachers have been outstanding, the way they give of their time. As they are closing down the school year this year, they are still dealing with budget issues that have to be handled. The tuition dollars that the school receives only covers a portion of the budgetary needs that the school has. A lot of it is done through outside fundraising. And of course, we know most of the outside fundraising opportunities have not been able to go forward because of COVID-19. Several different events they've had to put on the back burner because they just have not been able to do them. And I know they normally have a very fun time with their spring fun fair that they were normally have in May. They're not going to be able to do that this year as COVID is still hampering some of the things that they would be able to do, which would limit what they could do with their fun fair. So they are going to have a day of giving on Friday, May 28th. They have a budget goal of $15,000. I should say they have a goal of $15,000 to help with their annual budget. It's imperative that they get as close to that as possible. And so if you are a North Love alum like I am, or if you have had children or grandchildren go to North Love Christian School and you're listening to me right now, I would encourage you to please consider making a financial gift to North Love. Maybe you normally go to their fun fair. Maybe you normally give in other ways to North Love that you haven't been able to this year because of COVID-19. Would you consider doing this for them on May 28th? It's a day of giving. Again, their goal is $15,000. And so I would ask you to go online to northlovechristianschool.com, find out more how you can give online. You can also call the school office, 815-209-2634. I know they would greatly appreciate it. They're looking forward to next school year. They're already taking registration for 2021, 2022. And if you're interested in going to school at North Love or finding out more for your kids, I would urge you to give the school office a call and get a tour of the campus there. It's an incredible ministry. And again, if you are an alum of North Love Christian School who has been blessed like I have through the years, and I've always tried to give back as I can for them, I would encourage you to please consider a monthly or a one-time financial gift to help them at this time to help with this budget need that they have. So again, the phone number 815-209-2634, or go online to northlovechristianschool.com and find out more about the ministry there at North Love Christian School. And I know they greatly appreciate it. Again, that's coming up the day of giving, May 28th. So please mark your calendar and plan to give. You can give before that, but if you want to give on May 28th, I know it would make a huge difference for them.
Private school education has definitely come back into the limelight here this last year, and looking for options where so many public schools are, well, in different states are doing different things, but obviously it's been a real challenge to deal with all this COVID stuff. All this talk about following the science. I saw a bunch of kids yesterday. I had to tell my wife about this last night. I was driving between showings yesterday, and there's a bunch of middle school track kids after school running down the street, and they're all wearing masks. And I'm like, you're outside, and what? I mean, come on, really? I know they're only doing it because they were told they had to do it, but for real? I mean, you're outside, where it's almost virtually, it's not impossible, but nearly impossible to get this crap from being outside with other people, unless you're like breathing down each other's necks. And if you're jogging, you're probably not standing right next to each other. And anyway,
Well, not only that, you're also breathing in. You're not exhaling properly. It's dangerous. It's very dangerous.
it made me sad a little bit there.
Yeah.
So,
Greg, you mentioned that, there's differences between private education and obviously a public school. And maybe you have a different viewpoint of, what you're wanting your kids to learn going forward. And maybe you want it more centered on what you have for beliefs in your home and with your church. And that's why you need to strongly consider private education, because you may strongly disagree with some of the things that your children are being taught. And there are very good people in the public school system. I don't want to say there isn't good people in the public school system. It's just there are some people that have a different view of things that you may want to say, I don't want my kids learning that philosophy. I don't want them learning that, and I'd rather see them building on what I'm teaching in my home and what they're learning through church. So that's, I strongly recommend people consider private education, if not North Love, looking at other opportunities that are out there. So
absolutely.
Let me just say one other thing. You're exactly right, Corey. I agree wholeheartedly. We've done all three. We've done private education, we've done public, and we even did homeschool. And all three, the two of the three are very, very good. And public education is fine. You're right. It's fine if that's what if you want your kids to learn the public philosophy, whatever. But what it really is it's the hierarchy. It's the philosophy of the public school. These good teachers, a lot of good teachers, they're bound. They have to teach it a certain way, or they'll be sanctioned. They'll lose their jobs or whatever. Their hands are tied. And I, as long as we had the means at the time to send our kids to Christian Life for a while, and then we did homeschool for a while, it seemed to work out for us. It seemed to work out for us because I was not happy with a lot of what was going on in the public school system. Having said that, I'll say it again. There are a lot of really good teachers in the public school system and good teaching, and they create a lot of good young men and women. So it's not so much the public school education. It's the rules, the laws that govern the public schools. And those are just, it's secular versus Christian education. And I'll take Christian education any day. So.
And I'll say this, there are kids that would love to go to North Love Christian School. There are parents who would love to send their kids, and North Love would like to have them there, but maybe they financially can't do it. If you're looking to give a scholarship opportunity, they would welcome that, because they would take that money and put it into a kid and invest it in their life and help them with a quality Christ-centered education. So definitely it's something that I mentioned to somebody the other day. I feel private education is going to make a rebound in the next few years. I think people want something different. The COVID pandemic has opened a lot of eyes on different things.
I was going to say that exact same thing.
Oh yeah. So we'll see, but definitely appreciate everyone who can participate with North Love. I know they would greatly appreciate it on that day of giving on May the 28th. So I know we want to reach and talk about some different topics. I definitely want to talk to you, Packer boys, about your quarterback. We'll get to that at some point. But Greg, I've taken a lot of your time here. I really appreciate it. Giving me the opportunity.
That's all right. We definitely want to chat. We're probably not going to be able to talk too much about football here. Joann was trying to jump in here a second ago, and I lost her. She might have, I don't know if she's got to charge up her iPad at the Pause HQ or whatever she's at, but she'll be joining us here shortly. Well, one other thing we definitely want to talk about with Corey before we move on to anything else is the passing of our good friend Ron Teetsort. Ron passed away this just over a week ago. And there's some information that I did not have last week when we were on the show that we have now. So wanted to share some of that. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to share the picture of Ron and his wonderful wife, Millie. And his name, here's something that most people don't know. And I always kept forgetting. His name was not Ronald. His name was Ronald.
Yeah.
Ronal, Ronald. But we all called him Ron Teetsort. 80 years old of Rockford, passed on April 23rd, 2021. Born July 6th, 1940 in Wayne, Nebraska. Yes, he was one of those near 4th of July babies, always very patriotic, Ron was. Ron spent his life as a devoted servant to the Lord. His time spent teaching the word of God was cherished to him. He spent time as a pastor in Green Rock, Illinois, spent many years as a Christian musician, worked in radio most of his life, ultimately playing a large part in Rockford's first Christian radio station. He was involved at WQFL and WGSL. And the obituary only says that part about radio, which it could have wrote a whole couple chapters about what he did to establish Christian radio in Rockford, Illinois. He was a major, major part of founding WQFL radio, and then later in 1988, WGSL radio. So 1974, I think, was when QFL went on the air, but that didn't just materialize overnight. There was a lot of work behind the scenes that Ron was involved in. The obituary goes on. He was as devoted to his family as he was to his faith, spent 61 years in loving marriage with Mildred. Ron loved nature, enjoyed photography, as well as watching the wildlife in his yard and his dogs. A dedicated father, loving grandfather, and devoted Christian, will be missed by many, survived by wife Mildred and children Mark and Les. He has grandchildren, 5 great-grandchildren, and a sister. And the funeral service has been set for this Monday, May the 3rd, at Maywood Evangelical Free Church, or Maywood Evangelical Church on Samuelson Road. So we'll greatly miss the great Ron Tietzort. I imagine you probably have some kind of story to share about your experience with Ron Tietzort over the years, Corey.
Well, I'll tell you, Ron Tietzort, his legacy is so incredible. I started listening to Ron when I was a kid, and because my parents had WGSL on when I was growing up, and he was one of the reasons I wanted to get into the industry. And then I was able to work, thanks to Joe Buchanan, who brought me in part-time. I was able to work under Ron for a few years part-time. And then when Joe had an opportunity to move on, Ron was able to give me an opportunity to be program director, working directly underneath of him. I'll tell you, Greg, it was the most fun 10 years that I could, and I got to obviously get to know you over that course of that 10 years, but working under Ron, and I'll tell you, we had a lot of fun. I poked fun at Ron, something terrible. We used to do things on the air, and he was so good natured about it. We'd always give him a hard time about his age and pick on him. And I remember we did a bowling event for a few years where we would do promos where Ron was practicing bowling. And he was bowling in the kitchen. He was bowling down the hall, and all these accidents were happening. We played that up huge. Well, the day of the bowling event came, and we decided to have a ceremonial first ball thrown out. And we said, who else should it be but Ron? You talk about pressure in front of a bowling alley full of people. Throws the ball, strike right down the middle. I mean, incredible. And just his presence will be felt, in my opinion, for years, because several people over the years have been blessed by Ron and what he meant to WGSL, obviously WQFL before that. He was an incredible blessing to me. And I'm thinking obviously of his wife, Millie, and his son, Mark, and his grandchildren. I will say he made a difference in my life. And I know I'll get to see him again someday, but we will definitely miss him. But again, his legacy will carry on, and I'm very grateful for everything Ron contributed to my life. So
that's good. That's good. I forgot about the bowling story.
Yeah.
The thing I wanted to share today about Ron was in 1990. When I was going through some tough stuff, I was living in Broadhead, Wisconsin. And our interim pastor at the Living Word Tabernacle up in Broadhead had been an associate pastor at First Assembly of God in Rockford at one point. And when I was counseling with Pastor Manny, he said, you know what? we need to go down to Rockford and visit the radio station down there. And because I told him I felt God leading me to some sort of Christian music ministry, but I don't think it was singing. I wasn't a musician. Maybe it's radio. And he said, they own the radio station down in Rockford, and I know people down there, and you need to go down and meet them. So Pastor Manny and I drove down, and we met some folks in the sales department. We met Stan Bringle and his sales team, who at that time were housed in an upstairs classroom at Christian Life Schools. Take a little tour of the church, and then we went to the radio station and met the folks there. Doug Smith was running WQFL, and I heard this voice coming out of a closet. Now, you got to remember, in 1990, WGSL, WQFL radios were housed in what was essentially as the size of a mobile home on a pad of a base. You know, there was a basement, but it was essentially basically a
trailer
home.
Yeah.
It's a small house. It was a small 3-bedroom house. And what one bedroom was a production room. One bedroom was the WQFL studios. And the other one was the WGSL studios. All this equipment, all this stuff. And I hear this amazing voice coming out of this closet, and this door opens out. Out walks this, stately, well-dressed gentleman named Ron Teetsort. And, I'm Ron, and it's nice to meet you, Greg. And I understand you want to, possibly get into radio. Here's a script you can record, and I'm going to sit you down here in this. They set me down in this closet with all this recording equipment, all this stuff in front of me, and I read like 3 scripts, and they put it on tape. And the idea was to have Ron listen to it and give it to Doug Smith at WQFL, and judge my voice, judge my vocal ability on this script. And not 2 weeks later, a weekender for WQFL decided to hang it up, and a spot opened up, and I called up the station. Would you ask Ron to give Doug Smith that tape, because I'd like to apply for that weekend spot. And because just timing is everything. If anything had shifted a different way, I might have been working at WGSL instead of WQFL. But I ended up going to work for Doug Smith for weekends for a few months, and then the overnight guy decided to quit, and I took over overnights and became a full-time radio broadcaster on WQFL radio in Rockford, Illinois. Oh, I was so happy, and I got to work alongside Ron a lot of those years. But his voice, he was like the Glenn Campbell of radio. One take wonder. Give him a shot, give him a script. He'll give it a quick little glance over, and he would nail it the first time, nearly every time, with that signature voice of his. So it'll definitely be missed. And his service again is this Monday at Maywood here in Rockford. Joann is standing by, and I'm sure she has all kinds of stuff to say about the NFL draft. So good morning, Joann. Oh, she's at home.
Good morning. Yes. Yeah, this is Jorge.
Oh, we love Jorge.
I was building my bed this morning.
Building?
My bed broke during the night.
Oh, no.
And I was determined I was going to fix it. That's one time I wish I had a husband.
Well, you got some guy friends here, Joann. So if you get stuck, let us know. We're glad to help you out.
Yeah, we'll be glad to advise you over the phone. Sure.
Yeah.
Now
well,
take that hammer.
I had to take the box spring off so I could fix the slats, and then the bed fell apart. Well, not completely. The foot, I can't explain it. Anyhow, it's fixed.
Okay.
It's ready for tonight.
Okay. Well, when you got 7 pets on your bed, it's eventually going to break, Joann. So that's just, that's going to
Well, I wish it was with more action, though.
Well,
just sleeping should not make your bed break.
Right. Well, before we get into our pause segment of the week, we do want to talk a little bit NFL, just because, the NFL draft is happening.
Because you brought it up.
Because we brought it up, and Aaron Rodgers is threatening to retire or leave the Packers or whatever and all that stuff. And I'm sure.
I thought he was going to the Bears.
Right? What?
Okay,
what is your thought
Corey.
on that? What is your thought on that, Corey? Go ahead.
Tom got that. Yeah.
Well, I see you going like this. That's fine.
Bye.
You can say goodbye to Aaron Rodgers, but then you're going to say hello to Jordan Love. You're going to have another
He
10
was
years of misery.
Just starting something. You mentioned Aaron Rodgers and he felt like leaving.
Yeah.
Well, I really feel for Green Bay because, they are trying to get a young quarterback going, and then you've got a disgruntled quarterback who I don't think he will ever be happy. He just does not seem like a very happy person. But you know what? In the meantime, the Bears move up. They get themselves a nice quarterback in the draft. I will hold judgment out until we see how he does. I think they've got a lot of good intangibles there, but we'll see. It should be an interesting NFL season coming up, and still have another round of the draft to go today. So, but you guys, Green Bay has not done a lot. I know they got a quarterback, but I didn't see who they drafted in round 2.
Round 2, they've got a center, Josh Myers from Ohio State.
Okay.
And he's supposed to be really, really good, and he'll replace Corey Linsley if he wins the starting position, but he probably will. A lot of times, centers, offensive linemen, rookies will start because it's more about size and ability than it is about experience. Experience does help, yeah, obviously, but a lot of times rookies are stars right off the bat. And then round 3, they got Amari Rodgers, another A Rodgers, wide receiver from Clemson. So they're going to be okay. They got an A for their draft so far.
They got a stud cornerback to play alongside of Jair Alexander.
Another stud cornerback.
So they've got a great defensive backfield now, which is awesome. And they had a good one before. Now it's even better. Now they've got the center, and now they've got a great wide receiver.
And they got Eric Stokes is who they got.
That's the guy that they took with their
from
first
Georgia.
pick.
Yeah. I'm telling you, that's a good draft right there. And now they're probably going to go linebacker. I'm guessing probably linebacker. And outside of that, shore up a couple of other holes and you're good. Maybe another offensive lineman, maybe another wide receiver late in the draft. I mean, you look at Adam Thielen. I think he was a late pick for the Vikings a couple of years ago. And he's a star. He's an absolute bona fide superstar. You can get those guys in rounds 4, 5, and 6 and strike gold with them. You can do that.
I think the Bears have 3 picks in the 6th round, which again, you can find good talent out there. I know that in round 2, they were able to get an offensive tackle. I believe he's out of Oklahoma State or Oklahoma. Which we're optimistic that will help build their offensive line a little bit. I remember years ago, they always said you build through the draft on the offensive and defensive lines, and you bring in the position players around them, because if you're strong up front, you can do a lot of things on offense and defense. So it'll be very interesting to see, and I'll be curious. I made a prediction on draft night that I think we'll see Justin Fields by week 8 for the Bears. Because I think if they are not doing well by that point, that they will shift to the rookie quarterback. But we'll see. Time will tell. It should be very, very interesting as we go forward.
My only concern
throws a dozen picks by week 4, and they replace him by week 4. The new guy comes in. What are they going to do with Nick Foles? They're going to trade Nick Foles now?
I would trade Nick Foles and get another draft pick out of it. Is what I would do.
I think they would do that.
Because you've got your number 1 in Dalton. You've got Justin Fields. There's really not a need to keep him on the roster. I would go ahead and get another draft pick. Why not? So,
wouldn't you like for Nick Foles to kind of mentor Justin Fields? I mean, Justin Fields probably be a 10 times better quarterback than Nick Foles, but I like Nick Foles. What's the word? Just his I don't care attitude, not as I don't care attitude, his chutzpah, whatever. He just basically, okay, whatever. You're throwing this at me? Good, I'll do it. He's not mobile. Well, he doesn't have a great arm, but he's a really good leader. He's a really good leader. And wouldn't you want that leadership quality to at least teach Justin Fields for the first 8 weeks or maybe the first year?
I would rather, I know this isn't going to happen, but I would rather see Nick Foles, like you said, teaching the anytime you got a quarterback that's won the Super Bowl, it's kind of not a bad guy to have teaching a young guy coming up. Andy Dalton hasn't won a Super Bowl. Dalton has not done that. But at this stage in his career, he's a better quarterback than Nick Foles is on the field. So that's probably why they'll go with him. But you wish you could keep him. Maybe he considers staying in Chicago as a QB coach. But I can't see him staying and hoping to play. He would definitely fall at the number 3 position as far as quarterbacks goes.
Yeah.
What a quarterback room. Dalton, Foles, and the rookie. That'd be an interesting quarterback room right there.
No, I think your quarterback room is a lot more interesting in Green Bay right now. I'd like to sit in on those meetings.
I will say this about Aaron Rodgers. He's the consummate competitor. He wants to win, and he will win. If he stays with Green Bay, he'll put it all aside. He'll play. He may not be happy. Fine, whatever. I don't care about his personal life. I don't care about why he's unhappy or anything. Just play football. That's what you're paid to do. Play football and be a team player. And I think he can do that because he did that quite well last year. I think he was mad because I think he was really, really mad. One, that they drafted Jordan Love, but 2, that they went for the field goal instead of going for it on 4th down. And I think that was it. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. But I also think he's mad at Green Bay, Brian Gutekunst, and a few others for letting go of Jordy Nelson, for letting go of whoever it was, the other guy that he was really mad about. And I can't remember who it was now. One of his offensive linemen. Yeah. These things they keep doing. They just, without consulting him. And he's not, I realize he doesn't have to be consulted, but then again, maybe he should be. He's older than most of the coaching staff, for crying out loud. He knows that team. He's been there for 12 years. He's won a Super Bowl, so.
Green Bay has a very historic track record of being able, though, to pick up the pieces when their starter leaves and moves on. So Jordan Love may be ready to go right now. I'll be very curious to see how that develops as time goes on. But like I said, it's going to be an interesting year. I think if Aaron Rodgers leaves Green Bay, if he goes to be the new Jeopardy host or whatever he's going to try to do in his life, I think it opens that division wide open. Anything's possible. Vikings, Bears, even the Lions could make a surprising run in that division. So.
I hesitate to make any kind of prediction because my head still says he's going to stay in Green Bay and play because they've got a great team and they still have a chance to do it all this.
Yes.
Why
you had me until you said even the Lions.
Well, yeah, they lost me there.
But anyway,
that's all right.
I was trying to be optimistic for everybody,
Yeah, you downgraded a quarterback in an already bad team, but I get you. I think Detroit has a different philosophy now. I think a new coach, a new philosophy, a new lease on life. Jared Goff might actually be pretty good with Detroit. He might. I don't know.
He might. I guess if I was going to put money on a long shot right now, my money on the long shot would be Aaron Rodgers to the Raiders. I don't think Denver would be a cool place to work for John Elway. But they just got Teddy Bridgewater. I think they like Teddy Bridgewater. The Raiders, Carr's had some problems in Vegas last year. He wasn't as good as he could have been.
You could see a Herschel Walker type trade with Aaron Rodgers.
I would love that.
Please.
I would love that.
I'm being honest. I mean, I could see the Raiders giving the farm up and rolling the dice with Aaron Rodgers and saying, "Oh man, we're going to take our shot with him." He may end up playing 2 years out there and walking away, and then Green Bay's got all these draft picks.
I agree. I hope that happens because if you get a couple of first rounders, maybe a couple of second rounders, plus maybe a player, maybe it's an even swap for Rodgers and Carr plus draft picks, I'd be okay with that.
I would too.
I'd be okay with that. Let David Carr come in and play quarterback for the first year, and then he can teach Jordan Love what he knows. And then there's no pressure. David Carr will understand. David or Derek? It's Derek, right?
I think it's Derek.
It's Derek. Yeah. Derek Carr will understand. David was his older brother. that this guy's going to take my job. That's fine. I'm here as a stopgap. I'm here to teach him, train him, whatever. I like it. I think it's a really good idea. I almost hope it happens. I don't like prima donnas, I'm getting kind of tired of Aaron Rodgers.
Ready for that. All right, guys. Well, there's our great big insight for the week as far as the NFL goes.
Yeah.
Greg, I'm going to let you guys get over to Joann. She's been patiently waiting. And again, thank you for the opportunity. I always appreciate sitting down with you guys. Don't forget North Love Christian School Day of Giving on May 28th, $15,000 goal. You can go online, northlovechristianschool.com to find out more, or call the school office, 815-209-2634. Anyone who has been blessed by the ministry of North Love Christian School, I really urge you to get involved with this. Your one-time or monthly gift would make a huge difference for them. And looking forward to another year with North Love Christian School next fall. So, guys, thank you again. I appreciate it.
All righty, buddy. Take care.
All right.
We'll see you.
Always a pleasure, Corey. Always a pleasure.
Before the NFL season starts again. That's right. Go to Arlington or wherever.
Yeah, and take the White Sox with you.
We got some info to share this week, and here's some fun stuff. We'll there we go. You're there. Good deal. All right. So especially since Joann is not at Pause HQ, we're not going to have a tour, obviously, of Pause today.
Give us a tour of your home, Joann.
And not of my house.
I love your bird cages. Your bird cages behind you are.
Those are my African grays. I don't know if they're. I guess you can see one of them over my shoulder.
Yeah.
Yep. Joann the
It's your
pirate.
parrot.
Got a parrot on her shoulder.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right. But then let's see here. Let's play some appropriate sounder music, maybe. Ooh, there we go. We got some SMS info to share this week. And before we get to that, what are we at now? 50 degrees? It's going to be a great weekend, but a windy weekend. We're at about 56 degrees, mid 80s today and tomorrow. A wind advisory is in effect. It's going to be that windy, like to 30 and maybe even 40 mile per hour gusts today. So yeah, it's a windy day. Partly cloudy tomorrow, and then some thunderstorms possible for us on Monday. Kind of cool again Tuesday. Might only get up to about 58. But weather-wise, it looks pretty good. All right, so SMS info this week, guys. We go to Food and Wine Magazine, which I'm sure Joann is a subscriber to, right? Food and Wine Magazine. Readers' dream kitchen gadgets. What's your dream kitchen gadget? And what kitchen gadget do you always recommend to friends? One reader wishes there was a thing called a reverse microwave, something that instantly freezes food. Okay. A solar powered barbecue. Sounds like it would take forever. How about a laser knife? That's got to be in our future, right? Eventually we're gonna have a laser knife.
Well, they have it in surgery.
Yeah. So bring us the laser knife and a vodka dispenser for your refrigerator door. That's there's already dispensers for that stuff. You don't need that. So
wow.
Anyway.
Don't they have those boxes of wine that you just open the refrigerator and
push the button? There's your dispenser.
Those are for lonely single adults that have no friends. Like to drink alone. I watched a movie
where this woman had this box of wine and she was drinking. I can't remember which, or a series, and I had to go buy wine just because she got me out in the habit.
Box of wine.
But she had the wine always open.
Little wine with dinner. That's nice. A Wisconsin woman is suing Kraft Heinz, the food giant, because Bagel Bites pizza snacks is fraud. I might be related to this girl. I think she's my uncle's wife's niece. Her last name is Huber. She's filed a federal lawsuit. She says a box featuring the real dairy seal and the large type announcing mozzarella cheese and tomato sauce are false, deceptive, and misleading.
What kind of cheese is it?
Jorge agrees.
Jorge agrees.
The suit seeks class action status.
The neighbor's moving.
Anyone who bought the bites in Wisconsin can be a part of the class action suit, asking the court to make Kraft Heinz correct its packaging, and there's some unspecified damages. This is what the suit states. Wisconsin consumers want real mozzarella cheese in pizza because they value its soft, moist texture, its milky yet tangy taste, and its high protein and relatively low calories and sodium compared to other cheeses.
And we make more money when you use our real cheese.
I guess.
So what is in the pizza bites?
What is it?
There's not real pizza tomato sauce, and it's a cheese flavoring. It's not real dairy apparently. So
then they got a beef. I understand. If you're going to put real mozzarella cheese on the package, you better have real mozzarella cheese. But how much could that cost them? I mean, how much are they saving? Fake cheese? No.
Preservatives probably. I don't know. Maybe that plays something in it too. But anyway,
yeah, could be. But they're frozen, right? The bagel bites, they're frozen, so preservatives don't really matter that much.
Anyway, we'll see where that goes. They're going to change their product probably because of a lawsuit. YouTube that we're on right now, YouTube Live, expecting somewhere between a 29 and $30 billion revenue this year. To compare that, Netflix is going to expect about 29.7 billion this year. So they're right on par with Netflix. YouTube is. Pew Research Center has a report that says YouTube is the most popular and fastest growing social media platform. It reaches 81% of U.S. adults this year, which it was at 73% in 2019. Media analyst Rich Greenfield says YouTube users now watch 1 billion hours of video per day.
Wow.
1 billion hours of video on YouTube per day. Netflix, a measly 400 million hours. That's a big difference. That's a huge difference.
Yeah, but most people aren't watching Netflix on their phone, whereas YouTube, people are just grabbing it on their phone and flipping into something. I'll get on these little bunny trails where I'll watch like bloopers from news bloopers or game show bloopers, cat videos. I love all of those things. And I could sit there for 2 or 3 hours on a Saturday and do it.
Oh yeah.
Whereas Netflix, I don't know. I'd have to sit down in my chair, turn on Netflix. So I understand that. I get that.
It's easier to get tied into a YouTube string of videos.
Yeah.
And I think I've said this before, where some on a lazy Saturday or Sunday afternoon where I can actually I just need to rest and relax, I'll put on like the best of America's Got Talent on YouTube and let it roll, and it'll stay on for hours with the funniest auditions, the most daring auditions, the best singing auditions, all that stuff. And it's a fun thing to watch. YouTube's growth is accelerating. Netflix is expected to slow down. Here's a little known fact though about YouTube. YouTube's founders originally planned a video dating site. They were calling it Tune In Hook Up.
Wow.
And this isn't a joke. This is real. They pivoted away from that idea after one of the co-founders had trouble finding footage of the Janet Jackson 2004 Super Bowl wardrobe malfunction. That was part of their reason for pivoting away from this dating site and just having a generic video site. The very first YouTube video posted April 23rd, 2005. It's an 18-second clip of co-founder Jawad Karim talking about elephant trunks at the San Diego Zoo. And now today, you've got a 9-year-old YouTube creator making $30 million a year for toy reviews and generating over $200 million in annual retail sales. And yes, you heard me correct. He's 9 years old.
Yeah, Ryan.
Wow.
Ryan.
Yeah, my grandkids watch Ryan.
It's amazing.
Ryan's World or something. What is he doing? He's evaluating toys or something.
He's reviewing toys.
Reviewing them, yeah.
Playing with them, tell everybody why he likes them or doesn't like them.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's brilliant, and he's fun, and he's funny. And his parents are great editors, obviously, because they do some great stuff with their videos. We are in May 1st, which I didn't start the show with that today, Tom. Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah,
it's the first day of May, the year 2021, the latest it's ever been.
In the history of mankind.
And
That's right.
Kentucky Derby is today. It's
Mm.
Global Love.
Was it in they used to do flowers. People would go door to door and put in May baskets, give people May baskets on May Day.
May Day basket.
They don't do that anymore.
Joann is hugging her dog, but today
probably
is
not.
actually Hug Your Cat Day.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Or
he's
yeah,
best if he's sitting in my lap. So it's not by my choice, it's his choice.
Speaking earlier of my nephew Connor's 12th birthday, today is Learn to Ride a Bike Day. He knows how to ride a bike, but now he's got to learn how to ride a dirt bike.
How old is he?
He's 12. Yeah.
Oh,
Today is Bubba Day. I don't know what that means. It's
Bubba. Isn't that a grandpa?
Grandpa Bubba.
Bubba.
It's Home Brew Day. I've never made a home brew, so I don't know. I hear you. It's Play Outside Day, and all the dogs agree to that. Let's go play outside. It is Scrapbooking Day. Got some scrapbooks to make?
No.
We have tubs of pictures that we still have to put in scrapbooks in our house. It's School Principals Day. You want to give a shout out to your favorite ever school principal?
No. That's why I retired.
Okay. It's my shout out would be to Mr. Thomas Brown, Lakeview Elementary School back in the 80s. You were awesome, Principal Brown. We loved playing football with you. Start seeing Monarchs Day, Stepmother's Day, and of course, everyone should not celebrate World Naked Gardening Day. That's today. Watch out or don't watch out for your neighbors who like to do gardening.
If you have privacy fence, it would be okay. It might be interesting.
Till you get caught on the poison ivy patch.
Ooh, that's not good.
Yeah.
All right. And then a couple randoms for today. A pair of sneakers that Kanye West wore during his 2008 Grammys performance sold for $1.8 million at auction this week. Who bought them? I don't know. Reese's, you know, the peanut butter cup people?
Oh, yeah.
They have announced a partnership with Hip.Cosmetics for a peanut butter cup inspired makeup line. I don't get that at all, but I love Reese's. Bush Beer is offering $20,000 to fetch their new chief tasting officer for its dog brew bone broth beer. Beer for dogs.
Beer for dogs.
They made it last year. It quickly sold out. They're going to make it again, and they need a chief tasting officer. So does that mean they're looking for a dog? Are they looking to hire a dog?
That's what I was wondering.
Jorge's looking for a job,
Jorge,
right?
Here's your job.
Would you like
to
to taste
finally earn money?
Bush Beer? It's dog brew bone broth beer. Boy, that's a mouthful.
Knox, come here.
Knox, there we
I
go.
wonder if you put that on their food,
Come on, Knox.
they would
Eat it quicker?
They would eat it better.
Maybe.
Come on.
Pepsi is bringing back Pepsi Blue.
Oh,
to the
there's
shelves this summer.
he's gonna compete with Jorge.
I was just thinking how much he looks like Jorge, doesn't he? Doesn't he kind of? What's up, buddy?
Especially the head size.
I can
Yeah.
hear Jorge now. Jorge says, Knox, I
They
am
really
your
do.
father.
Yeah, that's right. And Knox says, no, you're not. It was the naughty neighbor's dog that was my father.
No.
Anyway.
Finally, Crocs, the footwear, Crocs, their digital sales went up 75.3% in the first quarter of this year. Overall, revenue is expected to grow by nearly 50% this year. Crocs are coming back. I've got a pair of Crocs that I've had for probably 20 years, at least 15 years. I really like them. Do you guys own a pair of Crocs?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
Are they open backed or they're the ones that are rubber, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't, because I only shop at men's shoe stores. Oh, that was harsh. That was mean.
They're so easy to wear. I admit they're ugly in a good way. I mean, it's, you know, some things are ugly and you're glad they're ugly, and they're ugly, but they're great. Anyway, wish I'd invested in Crocs.
I don't think I own a pair.
I don't.
All right. So that's well, we went long today. It's already after 9:00. I've got a pause pet of the week
And
to
talking about riding a bike, I'm getting my bike today.
Yay!
Nice. You got what? Kawasaki, Honda, what?
It's a adult tricycle.
Well, that's cool. A little
Okay.
basket on it for Jorge.
Don't laugh.
I'm not
What?
laughing. And you got a little ringy bell too. Ding, ling, ling, ling. Right?
You got a
I
basket for
decided
Jorge?
I want a bike, but it's a safe for my age.
like
How
it.
about that?
I like
There you go.
It's a adult trike. They're very popular right now.
Oh, I've seen them. They're actually really cool. And I saw somebody the other day that put a motor on it, and it was sleek, and they had painted it white, and they had big wheels on it, and they had a motor on it. And at first glance, I thought it
Is
might have been
that
one
called
of
a
those three-wheeled-
motorcycle?
Well,
Motorcycle?
it's a bike. It was a bicycle with a motor on it. So, but it wasn't
Okay.
your typical like three-wheel motorcycle. I've seen those. Those are cool, but this was a bicycle, a very, very souped up bicycle. Really looked cool.
I like it. All
And it
right,
was
kids.
powerful too.
The score is currently 2-1 in favor of Tom.
2-1.
Our big number of the week this week is 160 million. 160 million. And the answer this week is A+ or app. A+ or app. All right, you ready
App.
with your guess?
A+.
A+ or app. 3, 2, 1. Give me your guess. Go.
A+.
A+.
Both going for A+. All right. Well, we all heard about GameStop,
We both lost.
right? GameStop is getting in the news a lot the last couple months with all this stuff in the stock market. The CEO of GameStop, George Sherman, is stepping down from the retailer, and his pay package is worth $160 million or more. Basically, this is the equivalent. This is the corporate equivalent of doing zero work on a school project and still getting an A+. Congratulations. You did it. You both get a point. It is
All right.
now
Yay.
3-2.
All right.
The app story, Tractor Supply. If you're a farmer, you've heard of Tractor Supply. Their app surpassed 1 million downloads in less than a year after it launched. The company's loyalty program has 20 million members. Kudos to Tractor Supply and their digital work. But anyway, we went long today. Thank you, Corey Neese.
Sorry.
We really talked a lot about Ron and North Love and different things. So I know we wanted to get all that stuff in. Didn't talk as much about the NFL as I thought we would today, but that's okay. We'll talk next week more.
Well, we can do that. Yeah, I was going to say next week because the draft finishes up. Is it today or today and tomorrow? I think it's just today.
I don't know.
I always thought it was a 4-day event, but I think they've cut a few rounds out. So
I'm sure it's a lot crazier today with all the different rounds today. So anyway, hello, Jorge. Have a great week. We'll share our pause pet of the week on our Facebook page coming up. And
Yes. I did put one out. So
yes, you did. So we'll get that online shortly. Everybody have a wonderful week. Remember, you change the world when you help one person. Be a blessing to someone this week. We'll try to do the same and meet you back here for another Saturday morning Stateline show. Have a good one, y'all.
bye-bye.
bye.
Bye.